time to market. Look at what advantages AI can deliver today. Let's take those advantages instead of worrying about what it cannot do or where the use case fails, right? I mean, it has its limitations. Let's figure that out and work on it. So here we can now talk to Akshat in here about how he's. So you heard what he does. What I'd like you to do, Akshat, is go a little deeper, right? I mean, his journey is not straightforward. He did not start Lumo as he said he did Instamints. So how did Instamints lead to Lumo? And thus, what is the LLM piece then?
Initially it is the most exciting time in terms of AI. It has never been easier to build an AI prototype than today. But when you go to scale it at a production level, there is still many challenges. One of those is cost. Another is there is no obvious matrices, unlike traditional ML tasks, there is no obvious matrices to evaluate text generation. And the whole world relies on thumbs up and thumbs down. So, yeah, so that is the fact right now. So what happened with, like, I will go a little bit in the flashback. So as I mentioned, in Instamints, we were the first company to make meeting analytics, summarization, sentiments, and everything around meetings, action items. So we had our own LLMs here.
This was pre-ChatGPT or?
Pre-ChatGPT. It was like we started in 2021. We had our first model out in 2022 first quarter, I would say. So we did all those things. One thing I would say right now is like the first problem we face is the cost. Like if you are having a 1 hour meeting and I ask you to give me 60 rupees in INR for analyzing those, you will not take it. You will say I will have assistant sitting and writing down those ones. So the first thing we tackled there is cost. So we were doing prompt engineering way beyond people know it right now. So in the prompt engineering, we built some prompt. So what we did is like those were like a smart prompt. And we also compressed tokens before passing into the LLMs. And also we removed all the unnecessary context out before passing into the LLM and then appended it again at the output layer. So in a way, we used LLM just for its precision and had all the heavy holding tasks, which does not require precision, to us in form of appending it to the outputs. So we were able to reduce our cost from like 72 rupees for an hour meeting to like 6 rupees an hour meeting. After that, the second challenge came when ChatGPT came down. So when ChatGPT came, like we were out in the market and they were asking like why your output is better than ChatGPT. Like somebody will get the meeting analytics or notes from a ChatGPT, they will pass the transcript. How is your output better than that? So then we had nothing to answer. Actually, there is no evaluation and there is nothing. So we feel like read it yourself, you will get a better summary. Just do it. So that's when we clicked. So we got was research again for the matrices this time actually. We looked after around 85 matrices out there for ML matrices. But we found a common thread actually. Most of them relied on ground truths and they were impractical for real world LLM scenarios. Like in our case, we were using Rogue and it just had a 22% consistency with human scoring. So that does not want. So that's when we built something for our own use, like we call it 4Cs. We made it for Instamints and we used it. So it was 84% consistent with human scoring. It does not require ground truth. So it can be done in production as well. So this visibility immensely helped us at that moment. We got our retention from 18% to like 31%. Our customer revenue churn got down below 5%. But when we dive deeper into this, so that's when we figured out like there are lots of other problems, like RAG-related problems, like some hallucination, factual consistency, and all those things are there. And we also need to be aware of prompt injection attacks and all those security vulnerabilities. So that's when we thought we had to have a more robust monitoring tool out there. and we thought why not solve it for everyone, and that's when Lumo born, and we expanded our initial coaching model to a more comprehensive 360-degree evaluation framework. So here you can write your evaluation just in plain English, right? Like a human, how you evaluate. You do not calculate the rope in your mind. So you have just some English theory in your mind and you evaluate by those. And it does not require ground truth. We envision that because it should run in production to have you access to all those evaluation in production as well. So we built our own model. We call it EvalLM. Think of it as a GPT for evaluation. Write in just plain English and you get more than 80% consistency with human scoring, making it a good evaluation assistant. It also helps in your time to market. So another thing is like as people were saying like tech mode, because we have seen that journey, we had a tech mode, it got lost. So we knew what happened. So at the end of the day, the output to customer matters. They don't know like if you're doing it by if-else or some normal thing or you are using LLM or ChatGPT, they does not care. So you need to be proactive, and this technology is also changing very fast. Like every day a new version comes, maybe the same model changes and the old prompts are not working. So the evaluation should be proactive and you should not wait for a month because you will lose all your customers. So right now the main mode in here is you need to be more proactive with your customers, have evaluation in productions, and yeah, that is the journey and how we are.
No, so that's a lovely story. So I hope you all saw how he actually set out to solve problems for himself. And because there were so many problems, they just kept on solving problems for themselves, and they discovered finally that itself is more valuable than summarizing, meetings which seems to be happening now for free, not even 6 rupees a minute. So yeah, technology changes, offerings in the market will change, which means things will change. But my point actually as an investor really here is, and I want all of you founders to take that to heart, is if you actually innovate at the technology level, it doesn't really go away. Maybe the monetization model changes, the product changes, but core IP is always there. OpenAI destroyed their business, but not their IP, which is why they could pivot from the Instaminate story to what they are today, which is Lumo. So keep that in mind. So go out there and solve hard tech problems is something I strongly recommend to every founder, right? So I mean, if you guys want to ask them specific questions, we can do that now. Of course, this is supposed to be all collaborative, so I think we've all said our pieces. Now, time for questions, or we can bring in the next, move to the next item on the agenda. So any questions, anybody else? Just raise your hand, I'll come to you. Anybody? Okay, we can ask, okay, go ahead.
One question.
Just say who you are and then
Hi, I'm Jitendra, co-founder of SafeDep, and we are building technology to secure GenAI using GenAI. Okay, so I think on the similar lines maybe that. Okay. So my first, I think one of the question is on security side of the LLM solution that you are building. How are you making sure that LLMs that you are building and you are exposing to customers cannot be misused by the customer themselves? For example, in one of the organizations I have observed, they connected their marketing document to customers. And customers started using LLM to evaluate them with the competition. And then they started seeing something kind of a drop in customer calls and everything. So I would just want to take your feedback. Like how are you kind of securing it? What security measures are you taking to secure the LLMs?
So the first thing which I think, like as you mentioned the problem, I will start with your use case only, that marketing problem. So first of all, the security starts from the way, like if you are trying to train your model, like there are major two ways. I think no businesses right now directly uses GPT or other models out of the box. They either have a RAG pipeline or they fine tune their own models and then again have a RAG pipeline. So the problem you mentioned can happen at two steps. either in the retrieval step of RAG, or either in the fine-tuning stage of models. So, the first thing you need to, I will start with the RAG, retrieval approach. So, while you are retrieving, you need to have a sanity check out there. So, it is just like in previous, many people have a sanity checks on the outputs, but it is high time that we have a sanity checks on the input as well. So sanity checks, if you know, like you have to all those like you have to filter out all those important crucial data, PIIs and everything. You need to remove all those things before passing it into like LLMs. I'm saying it as a sanity check because, like in the world of LLM, it is a sanity check. As he mentioned, it is a big deal if you are not doing it right now. So that is one way. In the retrieval, you can handle it. While coming to fine tuning, like people do not think of like they just get the data, transform it and churn into the model, like to fine tune. And then it becomes more problematic because you do not know from where this personal PII data or some important data from your company is coming through. So yeah, again, while you are having a data processing step, so you need to remove all those information. Some people say, like, okay, if I remove all those information, it might hamper my accuracy. Okay, so yeah, build a knowledge graph on top of it. Vector databases might not suffice there because it is more of a factual data. So build a knowledge graph on top of it, remove all those things. If you are not sure, like the contextuality will be missed, then remove it by, if it is a number, remove by some other number. Train it, and then when the output comes, use that knowledge graph to replace those factual information or verify those factual information. It is just like catching, you are generating hallucinations on purpose just to remove